Welcome to Unfiltered with Love. I'm your host, Kerry Love. So lately I've been noticing something. It feels like people don't really know how to relate to each other anymore. Everything feels more guarded, more independent, and sometimes overanalyzed. And I'm not saying independence is a bad thing. In fact, I think independence is important, having your own identity, your own growth in your own life. But I wonder if somewhere along the way we may have taken it too far. It seems like a lot of modern relationship advice is centered around protecting your energy, don't need anyone, stay detached, cut people off. And while some of that advice can be helpful, I also think if taken too far, it can create emotional distance. Because relationships require vulnerability, they require openness. And if everyone is trying to stay guarded, how do we ever really connect? Another thing I've noticed is that relationships today seem to be overly analyzed. We talk about attachment styles. We look for red flags everywhere. We try to categorize people. And while self awareness is a good thing, I sometimes wonder if we've turned relationships into something we analyze instead of something we experience. Because connection isn't always logical. Sometimes it's felt, it's messy, imperfect, and that's part of being human. I also think a lot of people are relating from fear of getting hurt, fear of vulnerability, fear of making the wrong choice. So people protect themselves. They stay detached. They keep things surface level. They avoid getting too close. But when we do that, we also avoid real connection. And I think that's something we're seeing more and more today. There's a difference between being independent and being emotionally detached. Healthy independence means you have your own life, your own growth, your own identity. But emotional detachment means avoiding vulnerability, avoiding connection, avoiding emotional depth. And I think sometimes people confuse the two because you can be independent and still be deeply connected. You can stand on your own and still choose someone. I've also noticed this in my own experiences. There were times where I thought I needed to detach to protect myself, to stay guarded. But when I did that, it didn't feel authentic to me. And when I allowed myself to just be myself, to be open, to be honest, it actually created more connection. And that's when I realized that being guarded doesn't always protect us. Sometimes it just keeps us from experiencing something meaningful. I think healthy relating looks like two people who can stand on their own but genuinely prefer standing together. It's not about needing someone, it's about choosing them. It's about emotional openness, mutual support, growth, and still maintaining individuality. Because healthy love isn't losing yourself, it's growing alongside someone. So, if this is happening, if we're becoming more guarded and more detached, more fearful of connection, what do we do about it? I don't think the answer is to swing all the way back to dependence or to abandon independence altogether. I think the answer is balance. It's learning how to be independent but still open, learning how to protect yourself but not shut yourself off. It's learning how to be vulnerable even when it feels uncomfortable, because real connection requires risk. And I think part of the solution is also being willing to show up authentically. Not playing games, not overanalyzing everything, not assuming the worst, just showing up honestly. And I also think we need to be willing to give people grace, because none of us are perfect. We are all learning, we are all healing, we're all just trying to figure it out. And maybe if we approached relationships with a little more openness, a little more curiosity, and a little less fear, we might find that connection becomes easier. Maybe we haven't forgotten how to love, but maybe we've forgotten how to relate. Maybe we've become so focused on protecting ourselves that we've made it harder to connect. And maybe healthy relating isn't about independence or dependence. Maybe it's about two people who can stand on their own, but genuinely prefer standing together. This is Unfiltered with Love. I'm your host, Kerry Love, and I'm really glad you're here.